The best advice that I can give to someone who's trying to start making videos on YouTube is not about what equipment to buy, it's just to start making videos with what you have now. And then the rest will come.
Hello Small Mobile fans, here's a video by the #1 tech YouTube reviewer Marques Brownlee, popularly known as MKBHD. This video contains some useful tips on how to be one of the best tech reviewer on YouTube, and there's no one better than the #1 tech reviewer on YouTube, MKBHD, to give us this vital information. So good luck in your tech YouTube career as you learn from the boss, MKBHD.
I've been getting the question a lot, where did I start on YouTube, how did I start out, before I even was accepted into the YouTube Partner Program. And I'll be focusing on science and technology, but we're going to be taking a look at mostly science and technology for this series. And the first thing I want to talk about is actually building from ground zero and really starting from point zero, and maybe you want to make your own tech videos, kind of like I do. So without any further ado, let's take a look. The first thing to do is to select your tech video type. You can either be software, hardware, or tech news. And of course a combination of the three, which is what I try to do, is really good. But the easiest to start off with is software, and that's what I started off with. And software is really easy to get started with. So you can get started with free software. You really don't need much to edit this kind of stuff, as long as you can, move your mouse around and show things. And if you're good at that, you can get a good portion of your audience interested in what you have to show next in software. So if you're going to do tech news, you're going to have to do something different. It seems difficult to really separate yourself, and I try to do a different style of video. You can see, annotations over on the right-hand side. And to really separate yourself and get started with tech news, you're going to have to do something really different and get started with video editing. Then the last but not least, most important type of tech video is hardware. Now you can get started. You're going to need a camera, of course, for doing hardware videos and tech news videos usually, but the thing you're going to need to do is get gadgets to review. And if you want to, you can start off with reviewing things you already have, which is what I did. I actually purchased my laptop, which was what really got me started in making videos, and I bought a laptop cooler and said, you know what, I'm going to take the laptop webcam, point it at the box, and just film me taking it out of the box. And that was my first hardware video ever uploaded to YouTube. And this is really how a lot of you guys can get started. If you have a little flip video camera, if you get something like that for Christmas, that's going to be pretty helpful. You can get started on YouTube that way. Next thing you're going to want to do is pick a channel name. This is something you're going to want to identify yourself by. I didn't really have an idea of what I was going to do on my YouTube channel when I started. Of course, I just picked Marques Brownlee because that's my name. But I did get youtube.com/MKBHD. That channel as well is much easier to remember and mapped with partner branding. And yes, this episode is about graphics. So in this episode, I'll just be talking to you guys basically and giving you guys a few imagery of the following things that are pretty important to YouTube graphics. So pardon me if I look to the side, which is where my notes are. You're going to want to have a logo, a channel design or banner if you happen to be a YouTube partner, a video banner, which is above your video, your intro, which is actually a moving graphic, and as an added bonus, you can also have a watermark. But you also might be interested in making all of these things in the same sort of color scheme to make it easier to remember. So as you can probably already tell, all of my graphics are in some sort of form of red, black, and white. And the three colors combined happen to be my favorite colors, but those three colors together are pretty important to a consistent color scheme. Now, how exactly do you go about creating these images? Well, there are a number of ways that you can try, and a number of ways that you can let other people try. My intro was created using a template and using a tutorial from another YouTube user. It took me a couple days to actually put together, and it's only 5 seconds long. If you want to hold an intro contest to let other people who are already watching your videos actually try to make an intro for you, you can, or use other people's tutorials to do so. So overall, in my opinion, it might not seem like a big deal to you, but I think that when you're just starting out, or when you're actually building your brand, it can be a really good idea to establish a really solid color scheme that people can remember you by, whether it's a blue and white, or red and black, or some orange and black, or something crazy. But honestly, it's up to you. As you guys know, video quality is almost completely dependent on two things: your camera and your lighting. Before I used the Weapon Helium and shot in 8K, I used the Red Epic and shot in 6K. And before that, I shot with the Red Scarlet. And before that, I was actually using the Canon C100 back in my college apartment. Before that,
it was the Canon 5D Mark II. Before that, the Canon 60D, and before that, the Canon T2i, my first DSLR. But before that, it was the Sanyo ZACD CG10.
From the $100 to $2 range, I have a very clear winner, and that's the Sanyo ZACD CG10. By far my favorite camcorder in this range, and for a couple of reasons. Number one, it has a massive 3-inch flip-out LCD, which is really important for monitoring your video and filming yourself. Number two is it has optical zoom, 5 times optical zoom, and that's really good for maintaining quality while you zoom. And the next thing is that it has image stabilization in the lens.
Obviously, it's not the same quality as today's cameras, but you get that point. For specs, it has a 12 megapixel sensor. It actually advertises 10 megapixels on the box, but that's in 16:9, and you can take it up to 12 megapixels and use that whole 4:3 sensor if you dig in the menus. But yeah, this little 8-year-old camera shoots 720p video right to SD cards, has mics built in, has this built-in 3-inch display, which is again about the same size as some other cameras out here today, has autofocus, even has a macro mode for close focus, and if you give it enough light, it can actually take some footage that looks pretty decent. Certainly good enough for YouTube in 2017.
Now, once you get above $100 to $200 and $300, you'll start to see a wide range of different types and form factors of cameras. One thing you'll see a lot more of is the point and shoots, and there are a lot of good ones out there that shoot really good quality video. Also in the $200, $300, $400, $500 range are the camcorders. These are going to be your camcorders that are dedicated to full HD video. You can shoot to flash or a hard drive, and they're going to take really, really high quality video and will likely have incredible optical zoom. So you definitely want to look at this range if you have a budget of, say, up to $400 or $500. Now, when you start to get above $500 for your cameras, you're going to see a mixture of camcorders and DSLRs. But if you're looking something that has just a little bit of an edge where you get the interchangeable lenses, hands down, the DSLRs shoot the best quality video you can get in low light, in high light, indoors, outdoors. It's just an awesome thing that you can shoot video with DSLRs. Like I said, you can probably stay under $500 for anything you want to do on YouTube and get away with it pretty easily. Anything over $500 could be considered overkill, but I'd rather have overkill than underkill, mind you.
So moral of this tiny story is it's not all about the quality of the video, it's more about what's in the video itself. So people who are trying to get started don't have to go buy a great camera. You could probably start shooting a video right now on the camera on the smartphone you're watching this video on. So the best advice that I can give to someone who's trying to start making videos on YouTube is not about what equipment to buy, it's just to start making videos with what you have now. And then the rest will come.
Reviewing a product honestly is actually one of the critical parts of making a good video review. You can have all the most fancy camera work in the world and all the greatest equipment for making the best video possible, but if the content of the video is bad, then it doesn't mean anything. So giving an honest video review is what I would say is most about one key word: perspective. Perspective is the way you view the product and what is relative to other things that you have used. So I'll give the Beats by Dre as an example right now. Say you've been listening to your crappy $20 iPod headphones for the past year, and you finally saved up enough money to get your first pair of Beats by Dre. You've looked at them for months, you've read a bunch of great reviews on the Beats by Dre even, and you finally pick them up and they sound amazing. So what do you do when you review them? You give them a 10 out of 10. Now, the Beats Solo HDs, say you got the Solo HDs, are not a 10 out of 10 pair of headphones. But for you, your honest review can give them a 10 out of 10, and here's why. If you give them a 10, you have to be able to give some sort of perspective of what you've given them a 10 relative to, if you follow me so far. So let the viewers know that you've been listening to $20 iPod headphones for the past year, and when I listen to the Beats by Dre, that is 10 out of 10 sound, and this is the music I listen to and why it sounds like a 10 out of 10. That's the kind of relative rating you need to give your products. So I'll give another example. Say you're reviewing the Blue Yeti Pro. You've been using a inbuilt microphone in your laptop for the past couple months, and you've saved up enough money for the USB microphone called the Yeti Pro. You get it and it works absolutely amazing, and you give it a 10 out of 10 because it just sounds so much better. Well, in your budget, it might be a 10 out of 10, but like we already know, there are amazing microphones out there that would make the Yeti Pro look like a 3 out of 10. So to give a fair, honest review, you can rate the Yeti Pro a 10 out of 10 relative to what you've already reviewed or what you've already used. So make sure your viewers know what you've reviewed already or that you've already used the inbuilt microphone on your laptop. So this is a microphone. It has its own desktop stand. This is called the Blue Yeti Pro. Now that it's around Black Friday, you'll see microphones and stuff from Blue and a bunch of others going from way lower prices. I saw this guy, this blackout edition, for somewhere around $100, which is way less than what I paid for it a while ago. And this is also sort of like a YouTube classic microphone. I was using this microphone full time like 3, 4, even 5 years ago. It showed up in videos. I think I made an entire video all about it. I think it was the silver version. But yeah, this thing is tried and true, and I feel like it's about time I recommended it. And you might see my microphone right here. The first thing we talk about in terms of sound is what type of microphone you're using. So we'll start with a USB microphone. People really enjoy the convenience of having it just sit right on your desk, plug it right in and play. Literally plug and play and just go right there. So that's a very popular choice. The second option for a microphone would be something that mounts directly on the top of the hot shoe of the camera itself. A lot of Canon DSLRs and Canon camcorders have a microphone jack. And last but not least, there's the completely off-camera stuff that literally sits next to you and you can position wherever you want, not connected to a computer. You do have to post-produce, you literally have to go back and sync the audio in post-production. That's a step you don't have to do usually with on-camera microphones or usually with USB microphones. Lighting's a pretty popular option also. And in terms of YouTube videos, typically the more light the better. You like to be able to see your subject. And 3-point lighting is the most popular way to get your videos lit. So say you're lighting an object, you can take advantage before you buy anything of a lot of free light. Light's free, you know, it comes from the sun. You can use some windows that you have. You can use a video light that's completely out of the range. You know, you can have a light just from the top of your room. And once you get all those lights on, you just want to make sure you have a pretty accurate color representation before you go out and buy more lights. If you do choose to buy lights, there are some very inexpensive light kits from things like Amazon and some even dedicated retailers for video stuff. But I suggest that before you go out and buy lights, you take advantage of as much free light as possible. That's going to help you out a lot. Mute switch, so if you want to mute yourself, that's neat. And then a headphone volume knob, which is because this microphone has a headphone jack at the bottom, latency-free monitoring of your own audio. So this is a USB mic. I'm gonna plug it into this Surface Book here. It lights up, this mute button lights up, so that's pretty cool. I have Audacity on this machine. I use Audacity, which is a free piece of software, and I've used it for like 7 years. I don't use Adobe Audition or anything fancy. Audacity just lets me pick the input source, pick the quality level, and then record audio, and that's all I need to do. If if you make great content, you really don't have to worry about how fast you're making it, because you can be confident that it's gonna make some people happy or it's gonna satisfy your goal. So if you're behind the grill, if you find yourself behind the grill cooking 5 things at once and just throwing them all out there and you don't really have any personal connection to it, you just kind of make it, that's probably not the way you want to take your approach to YouTube. If you find yourself behind the grill with just one project you're working on and you really make sure that project is done well and the person you hand it to, the people who you give it out to, are really happy with it, then you can have a really successful YouTube channel. The first thing, the question that I get the most often is, how do you make better videos? Now, I might not be the person to tell you like how to make a better video, because good is different for everyone. So John 4 Lakers might tell you one thing, and Mystery Guitar Man might tell you another thing, and I might tell you a totally different thing, and it's really all up to you. So when I was thinking about this, how to make better videos, I was really thinking, when I try to make better videos, I try to make videos that are better to me, that I would actually want to watch. So you can even use this when you're thinking of ideas for videos to do later. Think of what you would want to see in your subscription box. Like if I was browsing YouTube right now and I just want to search for a random tech video, what do I want to see? Would I want to see someone talk about something, or would I want to see someone explain something? That's what I would end up making a video about, because I don't see it on YouTube and I want it to be there, and I will put it on YouTube. And that's just one of the little things that I think about. But here's a tip, an actual tip, because this is the YouTube Tips video series. So you've made a video and you finished creating it, you've produced it, exported it, whatever, it's sitting there on your desktop, maybe you've watched it a few times. Let it sit there, shut down your laptop, go to sleep, and sit on it for one day, a whole entire day. Sleep on it. And then wake up the next day, do your thing, and then come back to that video and watch the video again, and you will find so many things that you would rather have different about that video, I swear. I do this all the time. I'd make a review video, keep the project file so you can actually go back and change it, and you might notice like an awkward pause in the audio, or you might have wanted to say something differently, and you can go back and actually do that. So it's like you've had a video up and you want to go back, take it down, and change it. That's what I would say. So actually sleep on it, and let me know if you try this, because it actually worked for me. I found a lot of my videos changed a lot just from doing this. Having a video concept in your head and making it a reality can really evolve a lot when you sleep on it. So overall, I'd say when you're trying to make better videos, I know this is a very general tip, but yeah, try to make videos that are better to you. Trying to make a really informative video, do a lot of research, put things in the video that you didn't know before you decided to start researching. That is what you want to try to do. And make a video that you think is good, and then chances are it's a good video.
How do you become a tech reviewer? Alright, so I can't tell you all of how to become a tech reviewer right now with what you have today, but what I can tell you is how I became a tech reviewer, which is just by reviewing tech that I already have. And it seems really obvious, but people think like, oh, I don't have the money to spend on a whole bunch of tech to buy and review right now. But neither did I. I started in high school when I just bought one laptop because that's what I needed for school, and I made dozens and dozens of videos for the next person who was trying to decide what laptop to buy for school about the one that I bought. So you might not think you have tech, but you're watching this video on something. You might have a keyboard you like, you might have a mouse you like, and you know that piece of tech better than anyone else because you're using it. So all you have to do is take out your phone or take out some camera or some device that you can use to talk about your experience, and that'll help the next person who's trying to decide what to buy. That's what it all comes down to, is a purchase decision. Those are the key words. If you can help someone who's trying to make a purchase, you're a tech reviewer. And my advice for starters is just that. Get started. A lot of people are thinking about, like I said again, what they should do, what they should buy to start making videos, or what they should get together to begin. It's not really about that. It's just about what you make. And then once you make your first few videos, then you can get better from there. You'll never start off with a perfect first video. Don't worry about it. It will be better. That's pretty much it. So thank you very much for watching this one. I also want to give a quick shout out. So there is an article written on The Ringer, which is Bill Simmons' site, and it's about tech on YouTube and how it's grown in the past couple years. And it's really well written, really well done, well researched. So I'm going to leave a link to that article below. You can check it out. It's pretty awesome. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching this one. And I'll talk to you guys very soon in the next video. Peace.